My KLR650, it's a 2008 model. Once I got this thing, I've actually never rode the KLRs. I had a Versi 650. I've had a lot of Kawasaki's now, but ever since I got this thing, I wish I would have put more effort into getting the 2022 model, because this thing is amazing. Unfortunately, I don't plan on keeping any bikes for very long anytime soon, but this is a good bike. It really is. We just put a new back tire on it, me and Josh, and we've been working on this and that with the bikes. Got the hand guards, bunch of goodies and everything, aftermarket rear suspension, upgraded front suspension, an aftermarket windscreen. This bike is really neat. For a 650, oh my gosh, because it's one cylinder, it just has so much power. It gets up to 80 miles per hour really quickly. I think this bike is a really good bike, and I actually don't want to see it go because I always enjoy riding it. When I was 16, I was in high school. Well, 15, I was in high school, and I was looking at like the websites and stuff for the bikes, and I wanted the KLR650 or the FZ6R. Both of those were the two that were on my mind. Ultimately, I got an FZ1, but I really do like those two. They're really good bikes. And this one, after having this one, although it still has a bit of an outdated display and everything, it still is really cool. And actually, this tank reminds me of the R1M, like with the colors and everything. It is so cool. I really think it's neat. We got the rear container for it. It's extremely comfortable on the highways. If you didn't have knobbies, if you had like more street-oriented tires, it would be okay. It would be okay. There's not too much wind or anything, but the main thing is the knobbies kind of really put a toll on the bike, especially like on the highways, or even just driving in the city and with all the cracks and everything. Yeah, the tires don't do too well. I had the same issue with my CRF 250L, my 2018 that I had in England, and my 2014 that I had here in the US. And yeah, it's just knobbies, but they're really cool bikes. I really like it, and it has like a 6-liter tank, or 6-gallon tank. Sorry, not 6-liter, 6-gallon tank. I love this display on the newer models and everything. I don't know if you guys like the old display and everything. This bike may just be the right for you. It's got a choke. Here's the choke positioning. On, off. I don't mind messing with the choke. Or being carbureted, I really don't mind too much. I don't mess with carbs. I'll have it taken to somebody. But I don't think it's too bad. It's not really a big issue. But it's pretty neat. This bike is really cool. You can go a long ways with the 6-gallon tank, really. And what I thought of when I first got it and I started riding it around and looking at it and everything, I was like, you know what this really reminds me of? It reminds me of the 790 and 890 Adventure. It just does. It's got a weird, because the big tank, you know, and the fairings, the big side fairings and everything, it just has that feel. And it's a really nice adventure bike, really is. It does well off-roading. The suspension is extremely squishy. It feels comfy. This is not stock suspension. Just remember what I said at the very beginning of the video. It's not stock suspension, but it does feel very comfy. The seat is really comfy too. It does really well. It kind of does overheat. It's kind of hard but right now it's 90 degrees out almost, and I don't know. I mean, most bikes are not doing too well right now. That's why I usually only ride at night. But yeah, I got the skid plate on it and stuff. Radiator guard. Wow, I mean, single-sided brake disc, caliper, all that stuff. Not dual like the ZX6R. I'm just picking out things that I just made a review on the ZX6R, and now I'm getting to this, so kind of having a little bit of a challenge here. But yeah, it's a neat bike. Oh my gosh, another thing was, I had never messed with tube tires. I just never have. I've always had the tubeless tires, and I think the tubeless tires are good. But I watched an adventure riding video, this guy in Germany, and he was riding it, he was taking it on trails, and I don't think it was the KLR, but it was some other bike. He was taking it on trails, and he was telling everybody why tubed tires are a really good idea. He said, if I would have got a puncture and my tube, the tube in a tire explodes, I can replace the tube easily. Just take the wheel off and everything, put a new one on out in the sticks, and I have no issue with it. But if I were to have a tubeless tire and I already got a puncture, I'd have to patch it, but it wouldn't make it through the rest of the journey because of what he's putting the bike through. And it made a very good point, and I never actually thought of it like that, but the way he put it and everything, it made me actually really appreciate tube tires. We took the tire off. I don't know what happened with the tube. The tube popped. We got a new tube. I had a new tire sitting around, so put the new tube in, new tire, and it's been holding up amazing. Probably only rode like 100 miles on it so far with it, maybe 150. But it's just like the CRF, just like the Versys, everything else, it's all right there, you know. Everything is very simple to get to. I don't know how many problems people have with it. I don't look up videos and watch videos on like what problems people have with the KLRs and stuff like that. I try talking extremely positive of these bikes. I don't really try. It's not really hard to talk positive about all these bikes because they're all really good bikes. But I don't want to sit here and push anybody away from buying a bike, because I've had so many people in the past push me away from buying bikes that I really wanted to get, like the ZX6R. I wanted to get a ZX6R for so long, and everybody was like, Kawasaki suck, they have so many problems, this and that, and it pushed me so far away from getting a ZX6R. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to get Kawasaki. Kawasaki's a terrible brand. And then I pushed all those friends off, and I finally got a Kawasaki, and I was like, wow, I should have never listened to them, because Kawasaki is one of the best brands. All the brands are really good, but I really loved the Kawasaki. My first Kawasaki was the 2013 ZX6R, and it was amazing. I was like, wow, I should have like got one of these sooner. You know what I mean? Good bikes. Now I had 2007, I've got a 2006, and I've got this Kawasaki, which is KLR, and I had the Versy 650, and oh my gosh, Kawasaki's are amazing. They're so cool. But I've had a lot of other bikes too. I've had a lot of Hondas, a lot of Yamahas. I've had a Aprilia, Suzuki. So I think they're all great brands, but yeah, this bike is fun. It's comfy for two people. I'm not sure. I haven't had somebody in the back, but it looks like there's okay room. They might be like partially sitting on the rear mount, and or the fairing, I guess. I don't know what, I don't think they come with that thing in the back, but no, it's okay. It's a good bike. I like it. The mirrors are really good too. They stick out pretty far, but you have so much coverage with these mirrors. They're really good. We do not have a little flasher button, sadly, but that's okay. Another thing is, this bike does not have a fuel gauge, which I'm not sure about the newer KLRs. I'm really not. I haven't really looked too much into them. I've seen pictures of them and everything, and I love the looks. I don't know what all they have with their tech, but it doesn't have a fuel gauge, but it does have a reserve. So if you, just like the DRZ video, the guys in the comments explained, that is your low on fuel meter. Once the bike starts going down and you got to put it in reserve, you got to find the highway, or got to find the gas station. So, but I'm gonna wrap it up for this one. KLR, good bike. I like it. It's really comfy. It does well on off-road. I don't know, I have a hard time actually wanting to ride a lot of these off-road, like the bigger bikes, like the Versys and the KLR and stuff, just because they have so many fairings. Now, if it was a CRF or KLX or DRZ, this or that, or DRS, I don't have too big of an issue driving off-road. I just don't like replacing fairings, you know. I don't know. I'm sure you can get a cage for it, or something, I think the cage would be huge. And looking at the fairings, how far the fairings stick out, I think the cage would be pretty big. But you could probably get, I'm sure you could get a cage for it and everything, and it would do really well. So, but good bike overall. Can't go wrong with KLRs.